Everybody, my name is Gerone Wright, and once again, I thank you for joining me on my Geronification YouTube channel. Okay, as you are aware, through the many videos that I have here on YouTube, if you've been following, I claim to have this this higher level sense of multi-dimensional sense of being and higher sense of knowledge that gives me the ability to understand all that is to which is around us and understand what is happening and calls for the existence of mankind. If you've been following my videos, I've been making some pretty extraordinary videos, which actually most of them make damn good sense. The reason for being this is my position that I'm connected to the things in which that I'm actually describing, and it's almost like multi-dimensional doorways that allow me to stick my head in and look through and get an understanding of actually what's happening. In this video, I'm going to be addressing that of crystal skulls. I seen the other day when I was watching the Ancient Aliens episode where they were talking about these crystal skulls and how they're such a mystery. I got to the point now where before I used to be fascinated by ancient aliens. Now I'm getting upset because I'm just wondering if the theorist on the show is actually being paid by somebody else to direct our attention or divert our attention away from reality and place it in the sense of something that's beyond reality, which is that beyond, in space somewhere. It seems to me that, we were first taken for a ride by science. Science had our heads blocked in a way that we couldn't see reality, and we got religion. Then you got kingships and queenships. And now you have these guys, ancient alien theorists. It just seems like everybody's taking us in a direction where we just don't need to go. But anyway, I like the common sense approach, and I like to give you scenarios. I use scenarios that you can relate to and identify with to help you see reality and what I actually am seeing, and therefore use your common sense to agree with me, to agree with yourself that this sounds better than anything that I have ever heard before. And this is the reason, the same way that this ancient knowledge has been suppressed for so many years and people have been utilizing it to make commercial gain off of you, meaning to sell it back to you in a way that and bottle it up and sell it to you, and you pay for it, not understanding why you're being attracted to it all when it's actually all a part of you, if that just made sense what I just said. But anyway, to make a long story short, this is an image up here of a crystal skull. They have fascinated our world scientists because these skulls made out of crystal are perfect resemblance of that of a skull, but everyone says that they are impossible to create because there should have been no tooling, no machinery, and they're not possible. No one can explain how these skulls are made. Here's another one. Here, I drew images on it, by the way. There's another skull there. So I want to start by taking these skulls and describing them for what they are. Okay? You see a crystal skull. You see a crystal skull. When I look at this, I see a crystal ball. A crystal ball. Got your attention already. Just that simple. They see and you see a crystal skull, but I see, when I look at this, a crystal ball. Okay? Now, crystal balls are not supposed to exist. but neither are crystal skulls, because no one can explain how this was actually created. But I can tell you how this was created, and that's why I can tell you that this is a crystal ball. First of all, these crystal skulls, I think they said it's about 8 of them, 8 to 10 of them, or up to probably even possibly 13 or so, that have been found across the world, globally. Globally, these skulls have been found across the world. So I'll just get a little idea here of a map. Okay? So North America, South America, all over. Okay, these globes have been found. I mean, these not globes. These skulls have been found. So let me describe. First of all, that I'm going to do this. I'm going to take. I like to use examples because examples are the best attention getters you can possibly have. I just placed the map behind. This is a glass chessboard. You see it right there? This is a glass chessboard. I placed that over top of the map right there. And let me see where we're at here. This is North and South America. This is South, there's North. Okay. I'm going to take a king glass chess piece. You see that? I'm going to place that chess piece there as being a place where one of these crystal skulls was being found. I'm going to place one here as one of the crystal skulls of South America. I mean North America. That's South. North America. Okay. And over here in Africa, I'm going to place it over there. Okay. Now, I just put this king, which is glass, on 3 different locations right there. Okay. 3 different continents. Well, 2 different continents, 3 different locations. How about that? Now, this object being found here, if you were to find an object, a unique object buried here in a cave, let's say in Peru, that would not explain how that object got its shape, got its unique qualities about it. But yet this object is very special. Okay? The specialness in this object, wouldn't you logically think that the specialness in this object, the ancient, unique specialness in this object, is attaching the location or the spot in which it was found in? No one is addressing that. They'll take this object from out of its unique location that it's at and move it over here somewhere to be studied. All right. Most of these places that these objects are found in, this again, I'm back over here, South America here. South America. Most of these areas where, let me put the map up here. Let me take this out. Most of these areas where these objects are found, these skulls are found, these unique objects that are supposed to, and some of these skulls have been tested, people, and found to have a special energy, and they're found to be with a high energy level and emitted powers and all of that. But if I found this object here in South America, I would not send it over to Great Britain somewhere or Europe to get studied. I wouldn't. It just doesn't make sense to me to take the object from off the location from where it was discovered to an entire different continent and then say, let's look at it and let's study it. Let's understand its unique quality. No. The object was here, or where it was found. I'm using this location, but I know I gave you 3 locations. Because the unique quality in this object is based on the area, the location of which it originated. It's my position that these skulls, these crystal skulls, which I'm calling them crystal balls, are unique to the area that they were found or discovered in, because those areas are in celestial alignment in space, which calls for these objects to be created. And it's my position that on certain celestial alignments, we want to say summer solstices and those type of things, that where there isn't an intergalactic alignment from our world through some place in space, the energy from that alignment hits this object, which is this crystal skull, this crystal ball, and information can be read on the inside in the form of images, multidimensional images. And this is also how this object was created. Just in a whole, how many minutes? 12 minutes and 25 seconds. I just described to you a scenario that is more logical than us alien flying in from space and leaving us here, as people want you to believe, or an alien technology came in and made this. Now, I said that the skull was made through its alignment with beings in space. Well, I found beings in space. I have not been recognized for it yet. But here you have a crystal skull, and if you Google the image, hold on, let me show you something else about a skull. If you Google the image, they've been found globally on certain locations of the world. I can see images that are within the skull that creates other images, multidimensional images. And this one, as you see, I drew or highlighted. All I did was accent. There's the head of a horse right there. On the back of the head of the horse is the image of an ape right there that I can see in the glass. You see that? Let me see if I can highlight that. And then down here, the head of a serpent accented in the glass of this crystal skull. Might sound strange and might sound funny, but these objects that I can see are objects that are encrypted in Renaissance artist artwork and are symbolizations of that of how mankind came into existence. These same creatures are shown throughout ancient history in inscriptions in famous artist artworks, Michelangelo's, Bernini's, Da Vinci's artwork, as creatures that have genetically contributed to the genetic becoming of mankind, which is symbolized by the overall image of this skull. These images I can see in the skull. Here, a reptilian being, there a horse, there the head of an ape, here the serpent, and then you have the skull. Now, get this. On this skull, from here on up, let me get me a little pointer. Just in the bridge of the nose area, right here, and where the eye socket is for the skull, let me see if I can, right here, the eye socket for the skull, it creates another skull right there in the nose bridge area, which has never been known. So the socket of this skull, the socket, eye socket, creates an enlarged cranial, almost similar to that of this, and on the nose bridge area of the skull, another skull is there with teeth. So you have a skull in a skull, and no one has ever seen that skull before. Now, it gets better, people. It's my position that these skulls are special to the areas in which they were created. Let's just say that this skull was found here on the continent of Africa. The celestial alignment, this skull was taken and placed back there in the position in which it is there, with one of those special places that have a celestial alignment with space. It's my position, once that alignment is achieved, information from space, celestial bodies, intelligent life form, can utilize this as a form of of communication, which images appear, multidimensional images, and this becomes a message board. Let's just say, for example, that if this skull was discovered over here in Peru, in South America, then on certain celestial alignments with space, when this alignment is achieved and this skull is placed in the location from which that point that triggers this skull to come alive, based on the interventions from the celestial beings from that of space, images will appear in the skull. By the way, people, we have two different skulls from two different parts of the world. On this skull, I discovered that there is another skull right here in the bridge of the nose area here. There's the facial part, and the head part is created by the eye socket. Long and behold, on this skull, I found the exact same thing. If you turn this skull in this direction, there's another skull here in the forehead. In fact, I have it on, already highlighted on this one, but I probably have to take and put this guy back up. It's not. I probably have to take and highlight it because you won't be able to see it. I'm going to try to bring it in closer. There's a skull, and I don't know if you can see it. I might have to highlight it for you. Let me take a moment, and I'm going to take and highlight that skull to give you an idea of what I'm seeing here. Where's my... Oh, here, let me use this right quick. I'm gonna highlight this for you right quick, people, so you can see this. This skull images, people, is the communication for all languages. Because you can use a collage of images to describe beings. This skull is upwards like this. If you turn the skull, I can see another skull, which is here, right there. It's identifying certain properties of beings for which this skull represents. Now, there's something else that I want to say about this, because I said that celestial alignments with these skulls create images. Well, my crystal balls, now that I've discovered these skulls to be, long and behold, we have crystal skulls all across the globe of our world that nobody can explain how they actually came to be, except for me, of course, because I know how they were created. I've said that there are celestial alignments in space where there's a connection with these skulls if they were left be in the places that I think they found one in the Mayan temple somewhere there by Lord Pakal, and it was removed. That skull was left there and came in contact with the celestial alignment that it's supposed to be in. Then it becomes a message board. Makes sense, don't it, people? Alright, but check this out. These skulls are not unusual to me. This is an image this is from the Hubble Space Telescope, and this is a close-up, by the way. Where are we at here? I got this upside down, that's why. This is the Gerone Nebula Paranormal. This is a close-up of the Gerone Nebula Paranormal. This is space, people. This is space. And I have 2 videos here on that. Okay? Gerone Nebula Paranormal. Alright? This is space matter, gas matter, where stars are supposed to be being created. But if you look closely, right here, there's an eye of a skull. There's a horn on a skull. This is the half skull of what we would expect a human to be. But it gets better, people, because coming out of the head of that skull is another skull, horn being, that's wearing a skull cap with horns on it. So we have a horned skull here. There's the eye of it. There's the cranial. And coming out of the top part of it is another being. There's the eye. There's the horn. There's a horn. Celestial bodies in the forms of skulls. Now, that celestial body is facing another skull. There's the eye. There's the head. It's coming down around the mouth area. And I have a video of this. I'm not going to go pulling this back up again. So we have 1, 2, 3 skulls in the Gerone Nebula Paranormal. So I have them highlighted, so I'm gonna bring it up because I have spent time, and I'm not gonna revisit this video. I refuse to. Revisit all of this. Here's a highlight of it, people. This skull here that's highlighted, the eye is accented, has a reptilian-like body. All this is gas matter, people. This is gas matter. There's the skull that I just told you, the chin, the mouth, the head is wearing a skull over top of the skull. See it showing you the mouth emerging. See that eye? See the horn? See that horn? And then its neck is attaching this celestial skull body, which is made of cloud matter. You see that? 1, 2, 3. The Gerone Nebula Paranormal. Here it is again, but I'm going to see if I can get the image of the Gerone Nebula Paranormal up here on what you would see when you Google it. Let me see if I can find that image right quick of the Gerone Nebula Paranormal. On what you would expect to see when you Google that image. Always when I'm looking for something, I can't seem to find it either. I know I'm not going to find it. I don't know what I'm even bother looking for. Oh, here it is. When you Google the Gerone Nebula Paranormal, it looks like this. Well, hold on. Do I have it upside down? No, I have it upright. It looks like this. That gas matter. You see that, people? I've identified intelligent celestial bodies in the form of holographic images that are here in this mass. Here's the neck. Here's the under chin. There's the mouth, coming around up by the nose, coming up the forehead. Here's the eye of that skull. Here's the cheekbone, which creates the cavity. And this whole head here, this is a head, a celestial head made in cloud mass. Faced off with this skull, the eye socket, the horn area, the forehead, the other skull coming out. And I can read the entire celestial mass and what it is stating. But it's my position that these scenarios in our space and gas matter, the Orion Nebula, the Gerone Triangular Nebula, and the emissions, the Gerone Emissions Triangular Nebula, these nebulas, the Eagle Nebula. It's my position that these gas matters contain information relating to our world, and there are holographic and multidimensional images in those cloud gas matters, nebulae matters, and that information is the same information that can be described as being in these skull heads that are found across the world globally. What makes for perfect sense in this is that most of these locations where special objects like this are found, they tend to be in alignment with a location in space. What's unique about these and those locations? Pyramid locations in Egypt and all of that, the Mayan world, the Mayan temples and all that. What's unique about these areas is that I can match the depictions and the holographic images that are here with the alignment that these locations are with in our world. For example, if this location was in alignment with Vatican City, meaning that the paintings, the unique paintings that are in the Sistine Chapel on the ceiling, done by Michelangelo and the other 3 artists before him, I will be able to show you the objects that are in their painting as being in detail and matching, similar to what is here. Famous sculptings, famous artifacts, ancient artifacts. You see, people, the uniqueness of objects that are in our world, like these crystal skulls, come from previous information that is stored in celestial gas nebulae matters in space that can be read. See my video on Gerone Nebula Paranormal. The Gerone Nebula Paranormal and the celestial bodies that I've discovered to be there. If I brought this skull home, the specialness in this skull is not going to work. But if I took this skull back to where it was found originally and placed it in that area where it's supposed to get that celestial communicated message from outer space, then it'll work. You see, this crystal skull is a crystal ball. And this is how these damn mythical stories emerged. Places like Disney and ancient royalty, how they take and made these love stories out of witches and crystal balls and all of this, that, and the sort, and turned it into a money-making thing and a myth. It was all true all along. These objects and their uniqueness, placed in the given locations from which they were, where they were created, will illuminate in the special effects that they were created to do. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. It's my position that these skulls were not made in a sense to be mauled over as being nothing more than informations that could be obtained from. I can look into these balls. To these crystal balls. I can look into these crystal objects and see images that other people can't see. And all I did was just pencil the outline of this horse face and look out at the jawline. Naturally, I didn't even put the jawline there, but yet the jawline appears naturally. All I did was just outline just this part, the mouth, the bottom, and put the eye there, which is already there, and the nostril, and look how the rest of the face of that horse is there, with an image of a monkey on the back. There's other stuff that is here too, people, that I can see. You see, these crystal balls, or should I say crystal skulls, are they crystal skulls that I want them to be crystal balls? Oh, okay. A little light humor there. Are multi-dimensional message boards that are the same that I found to be with celestial gas matters, nebulae matters in space. The same exact thing. Message boards that contain multi-dimensional images. How can I take and give you skulls, images in skulls, describe how these skulls were created? Well, I didn't describe how these skulls were created. Well, you see, people, these celestial masses, these alignments, this high energy, when sent to these objects or sent to these locations, can also, I found the way that they create these objects. And I can tell you, I know why and how it is actually being done. Because I know of other objects besides the skulls that were being created in this way, which I'll detail later on. It's my position that this entire mass, which is I think 7.7 light million years in width and length, is a billboard of holographic images that describe the creation of life forms, an information board, and the entire mass is that message board. Not one area of this mass is exempt from not having a holographic image that shows you how from one state of a being came other states of beings. And that's what this is all about. So, we are correctly understand this as being a place where stars are being created, but also life forms and information which is stored from previous existences, current existences, and future existences. And this is why I can identify skulls in space with skulls on our planet. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel, and I have no end as to what I can do. So from now on, when you think about these top mysteries of our world, where you have crystal skulls that no one can describe how they were created, think about the connection that I made with these skulls, with their locations from which they were taken from, or should I say displaced from, the message centers that they are, and then how I made the unique comparison to a crystal skull as being that of a crystal ball. Imagine this skull and its alignment in the area from where it was taken from. On that certain point in that certain time, when its alignment to the celestial beings in space, that this alignment creates a message center. Imagine images of space appearing in this skull, lighting this skull illuminating. Faces appearing as if they're wearing the skull. Space appearing in the face of this skull, and the information, readable information, in the form of holographic images, giving the person that's sitting before this the higher knowledge and understanding as to what is going on beyond the realms of the planet that he is on. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel, and I'm going to keep the videos coming.